Chris Collinsworth put Cam Heyward in the Hall of Fame during the game. Get the bust ready. I love Cam Heyward. I played in his softball game. I had several Steelers players behind me make errors that made my stat line from that game look much worse, and Heyward agreed with me. He kept me in and allowed me to pitch. I also went 1 for 1 in that game because I hit the ball right at Chris Mack, which was a very smart strategy.
Oh, man.
Pew, 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 pew. I'm looking at Cam Heyward. Let me put it through this filter. Richard Seymour is a 3-time Super Bowl champion, is a multi-time All-Pro, has that Patriots bump going for him, still can't get in the Hall of Fame. If Richard Seymour isn't a Hall of Famer or is waiting and waiting and waiting, then, I have a hard time thinking that Heyward's going to get in.
I feel like Cam Heyward's his problem is twofold for this. His career, he has the same number of tackles for loss as Seymour. He has a few more sacks than Seymour. He's 2-time first-team All-Pro. Seymour, just for comparison's sake, is 3-time.
But Seymour came through in so many big games.
I understand that. I'll finish here. I think Heyward's problem is twofold. One, we're here and we see how much he means in the locker room. We see we hyper focus on the little things that he does every play, it seems.
Yep.
And also, to a degree, some of his best work hasn't been in some of his statistically most gaudy seasons, and he had kind of a slow career start as far as becoming
late
a force.
bloomer.
He would have to play conservatively, and when I say this, I mean produce at a high level for these years.
Yep.
3 or 4 more years, I think, to have a real case.
Do you think that Cam Heyward is in the same breath as Aaron Donald?
This year?
No, overall for his career.
No.
Either do I.
I think Aaron Donald is probably going to go down in history as the best defensive player ever.
So guys a tier below that can get into the Hall of Fame, obviously.
Yeah.
They don't just put the all-time best player in at every position. Do you think that Cam Heyward measures up to guys that we grew up watching like Warren Sapp and John Randall?
Frankly, no.
So he's a tier below that too.
I think if there's godlike tier, which is Donald,
how about his candidacy versus James Harrison? James Harrison doesn't have
iconic play
and a defensive player of the year.
James Harrison's
sniff the Hall of Fame.
James Harrison's absolute best was better than Cam Heyward's.
But guy can't sniff it.
Cam Heyward would have to be I feel like on defense, especially if you're not like a safety or a corner, you can't be a compiler, right? You can't put up a Frank Gore career where you're very good by and large.
I don't know about that. I think Kevin Green pretty much had that career.
Is Cam Heyward better than him?
No, because Green, if he keeps playing like this in his 30s, there's going to be an argument there.
Is Cam Heyward better than Calais Campbell?
Yes, but it's close.
Oh, I don't know, man.
It's very close.
Do you care about tackles for loss as a stat? If a guy's not getting sacks, but he's bringing people down for negative plays, he's almost got him 2-1 in that
Campbell's
department.
A beast.
Dude, Calais Campbell, it's the same deal, though, late bloomer. 14.5 sacks when he was 31, 10.5 the next year. They're very similar players. Campbell, I think, has a bet, and
he's a part of more playoff teams.
I love watching Cam Heyward play. I love that he represents the city a certain way. He's like, pound for pound, might well be my favorite player on that whole Steelers roster.
I would agree with that.
But I think a Calais Campbell's got a better and more legitimate shot.